Hey. Sure. Now that's
very, very loud.
Crypticon, let's give a warm welcome to Jake Busey and Dee Wallace. Speaking of opening up to you guys, if you want to take some questions or tell some stories or however you want to do it, it works out. And isn't the mic on enough for both of you?
when I was a young kid, I had a little bit of a rough time getting into the activity of acting in films, and this is really hot. This mic is really hot. I just wanted to feedback. Anyway, so then I fortunately do this audition, and my agent tells me that it's for this director who's done this amazing independent film in New Zealand, and that he's now got a deal with Universal, and they're going to do this really high concept, scary comedy horror film. And I auditioned for it. I just was a flailing monkey in the auditioning room, throwing myself against the walls.
Peter would love that.
Yeah, and he was looking at me. He had his eyes were wide open, his mouth was wide open, and he was looking at me like he was watching the biggest rugby game in the world. And there's a scene in the movie where my head slides down a gravestone, so I throw myself against a wall, and I'm sliding down the wall and wind up in a heap and all this. So I find myself in New Zealand and land at the airport, and I meet Dee, and we get in a van and we're going on our way to the hotel, and the girl that picks us up asks us if neither one of us could understand. She said, would you like to get to the fish market? And it's 6 a.m. and we've been on a flight for 14 hours, and she said, would you like to go to the fish market? What are you saying? And then someone else leaves over and says, she wants to know if you'd like to go to the fish market. I'm thinking, why do you want to go get fish?
At 6 a.m.
And so we start working, we do this film, we get a wonderful rapport between us and wonderful chemistry, and we just had so much fun. And yet, all I knew her from was that she was a mom in ET and amazing. I had no idea that she had such a wonderful, vast resume of these scary movies. It's a warm character that pops up in these movies that are freaking us out to kind of bring us back to some place of being able to not entirely freak out while watching the movie. And it was such an honor that I realized, no, I can't believe who I've been working with, and I had no idea, And so to this day, I'm very thankful that I got to have Dee as my first on-screen girlfriend.
Who could actually be his mother.
Oh, not really.
Oh, yeah.
We're from the same part of the country.
Yeah. Anyway, shooting the Frighteners, everybody had a ball. Don't you think? Everybody. Jeffrey and everybody. Michael was just coming down with his illness and really didn't know what was wrong with him.
Yeah.
So he pretty much stayed in his house.
Yeah, he was not really around.
Well, I don't think he was physically able, and he was flying back and forth a lot to the doctors to see if they could figure out what was going on. But we just had a ball working with Peter. You have to understand, Peter Jackson's like a hobbit.
Yeah.
We were in the dead of winter, and he would come to the set in flip-flops, cutoffs, and a big old down jacket, and a big bushy beard, You know, he had a lot more weight on him at that point than he does. And it was like working with a hobbit. And he's the sweetest, kindest, gentle.
Yeah.
So gentle. You know, I lost my husband during the filming of The Frighteners. And I had to fly back and forth 4 times across the country. He had a heart attack, and then I went back, and then he died, and I had to come home and bury him. And then I went back with my little girl and my nanny, and they just kept saying, don't worry about it, you can settle up at the end of the picture. And I went back in to settle up, and the bookkeeper said, no, Peter this is just his gift to you. He's taking care of all the flights. And let me tell you, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
You know, that tells you right there the kind of guy Peter is. Questions?
Yeah, well, you know, what's amazing is that when we did the film, Dee had this very cute 7-year-old daughter, and really a sweet kid. And then, you know, I run into a woman recently who's extremely attractive and bubbly and upbeat, and I guess last year. And she's like, hey, Jake, how you doing? I'm like, I'm great. She goes, it's me, it's Gabby. And I was like, holy cow.
What are you doing tonight, honey?
That was kind of the first thing that came to mind. I was like, oh wait. Had to be a gentleman here. And but
yeah,
no,
remember I killed a lot of people.
I know. So, but she has become quite an accomplished film director, and she's just written a novel that is for sale at the moment, and it's
Eat,
quite
pray, after
incredible.
milk.
Yeah.
Go get it, you'll love it.
Pray, fuck my life. It's, I think a good learning lesson for everyone, something to relate to. But she's just an extraordinary kid. So not only a wonderful actress, but a hell of a mom. So.
It's my best role, for sure. You have a question?
Yeah, I just want to comment and then ask you a question. I think you're like one of the most underrated actresses in the industry. I don't think you get enough credit for
Thank you.
the broad work you've done.
Very sweet, I
I
think.
mean, quite honestly, even E.T. or the Frighteners could have got you a nomination somewhere. But
You would think, wouldn't you? At least Cujo. Jesus. Thank you.
What would you say? Has there ever been a movie you've been in that freaked you out while filming?
No. There were a couple of moments, but you have to understand when you're shooting them, you're seeing all the technicality that goes into everything. And the only moment that really kind of got to me, well, there were 2. Somebody put blanks in the gun in the Howling during rehearsal and thought it would be really funny. And that was before all the stuff went down. Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing where you're in a rehearsal.
Oh my God.
You're expecting that you can pull the trigger and it's just going to dry fire. It's just going to go click, click. And so, you know, there's wadding that comes out of blanks, and it's like a lot of times they use quarter rounds, sometimes they use half rounds. Hopefully that person uses a quarter round. My God, there was a kid named John Eric Hexum in the 80s, and he was destined to be the new Val Kilmer. He had been a daytime guy, and he did a movie with my dad, and he was like destined for stardom, just a handsome 27-year-old man. And this is, of course, before Brandon Lee and any of that stuff. This is kind of the first incident. And he was a movie actor, and he had done daytime TV, but now he got on to like something like a recurring TV series that was like a procedural thing. So there's a lot of actors, and like you maybe only work like 1 or 2 days a week, or you wind up doing one scene and then you sit for 13 hours. Like, oh, we may need you later. But it can be, you know, it's exciting that it's a TV show.
That's
but
really
it
what
can
they
be
pay
boring.
us for.
Yeah, it is. That's a good reminder. And so, you know, he was sitting on the set and kind of just bored to tears, and it was maybe weeks of not really doing much and anticlimactic for him. So he's bored, and someone says, "How you doing?" And he was like, boom, and it had a blank round in it. He pulled the trigger, and he was joking like, kill me now, and it did. And so that's what Dee's talking about. That's really scary.
That was the first time. They lost me for about 3 hours because
Yeah.
I was already, hyped up into the scene, into kind of La La Land, where we have to go, and it went off in the car when we were rehearsing, and it just, I really kind of lost it for 3 hours. And the other time was in Cujo, where after I hit him with the bat, and then they have to put the dog on me. And the dogs were really well taken care of. I want everybody to know that. And the medic had sedated the dog, and they put this 130-pound dog on me. And Lewis, our director, says, "Can you lift him up and down now, like you're?" So I'm bench pressing this dog, and the dog starts going, and I froze. He was up here, and he's looking down at me, going, and I'm going, "He's not going to come awake, is he?" There was a moment there where, because as gentle as these dogs were, to wake up and have somebody bench pressing you, they would have reacted, right? But usually no, because it's just too technical what you're going through.
When you're making the show, you're not in any way involved in the narrative like you are when you watch the thing. There's no music going, there's no moment before that you're physically seeing, you're not seeing a ramp up. You're really just focusing on doing that scene for what it is, with the generalized awareness of what's been going on in the story you're in, but it's certainly not like the pinpoint edge of your seat stuff that you get when you watch it. That's a lot. Is like, it looks different. They do the color treatment on the film, color correcting. They do, they put film.
The music is a lot.
And it's different colors. Like when they shot The Matrix, not everything was green. That's like After Effects. So it just looks like regular daytime. Like when we did Stranger Things, it just looks like this. It doesn't look like the Upside Down. It doesn't look like it does on the show, because that's all done afterwards. So when you're doing it, you're not in a position to get scared. You're how would you say?
You're technically in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, in my brain, like in Cujo, when I broke the back of the glass, I wasn't supposed to be able to break the back of the glass. So, they don't take into account the adrenaline that an actor gets up to do a scene. So I broke the glass, and I didn't hear cut. So you're trained, if you don't hear cut, you just keep going. So this part of my brain is going, holy hell, I broke the glass, right? Now we'd rehearsed the whole scene, and this part of my brain's going, get the kid, the dog's coming. Wait a minute, the glass is broken. Get the kid. I can't, drag the kid over the glass. Get the kid. So you see me do this stupid waddle because I was present enough not to drag Danny over the glass, but still so much Donna that I had to get, the kid out, and we ran all the way up to the door, and then I hear cut, and then Dan Blatt, our producer, comes over and goes, "Oh my God, Dee, are you all right?" And I ripped my arm up, going through the glass and everything. So they put an ace bandage on it, and Dan says, "Okay, I know you have to go to the hospital, but do you think we could do one more take?" Well, that was our last day on the ranch. Somebody over here had a question, like an hour ago. Okay. Well, face down. Back there.
Mr. Busey, I know
this is probably not your favorite movie to have been in, but there's a scene where you play a violin. Do you actually know how to do that?
On the film he's talking about, for those of you who don't know, is Starship Troopers. Yeah, that was a good one, and I did that right after we finished up on the Frighteners. Interesting thing. You're making a film, you're making choices about what the characters do, you're writing the script, and you know, let's make these different characters have their own unique humanities to them. And so the director, Paul Verhoeven, his wife, Martine, is second chair in the Amsterdam, Netherlands, Dutch. That's such a confusing country with all the names. But it's like the Dutch Philharmonic. She's like big time violinist. Yeah. So I get the job, and then in a very matter-of-fact way, someone says to me, "Yeah, and you'll be starting your violin classes with Martina on Monday." So that was crazy. So we were working out 5 days a week, and then 3 days a week I would go to Paul's house, Paul and Martine's house, and we would sit there in the morning having coffee and learning how to play these 3 songs on the violin.
So you're saying for that one scene,
About
they
6
taught you how
months.
to play?
And the funny thing is, on that line of thinking, when we shot it, and somebody says, "All right, okay, we got that one, check the gate, we're moving on, and that's a wrap on the violin for tonight." And I was like, "Wait, hold on a second, that's all, that's where's my coverage? That's it? That's all you're gonna shoot?" Like, yeah, we got it. It was great. You know, they're dancing, and you gotta go by in the background. And I was like, what? I've been doing this for 6 months for this? Like, I shaved my legs for this. So I was kind of blown away. I realized at the end of the day, like, it just adds to the authenticity of the film. And I knew what I was doing, and I was playing the song. And so it doesn't look like, one of my biggest pet peeves is you get music in a film, live music, and you see the band, and like the drums are completely not doing what you're watching. So you're hearing the boom, pow, and the guy's sticks are like over here, and it doesn't match up. So they did that with the violin in a way that was extremely authentic, and it was worth it. I can say I learned how to play the violin, but it's awful. Yeah, it's really, and recently my daughter decided she wanted to start playing violin. She's 6, and I went over to an old friend of my dad's who's a violinist. He's a fiddle guy, and it was amazing. And so I picked up a violin last week for the first time in 30 years or whatever, and it was so strange because you have to hold it really in a very awkward, strange manner. I couldn't make it make a good sound at all. Oh, you did? So you really know, yeah.
Well, I used to. Yeah. It ain't the easiest instrument.
It's the one instrument in the world that does not want to sound good. It's like a cat.
Yeah.
So this question's for both of you. So I have 4 kids and they're absolutely crazy. What is it like being in a movie where the major focus is the children?
Well, I wouldn't have had a career. First of all, I love working with kids. I really love working with kids, especially if their frickin' mothers are not on the set. Because kids, they're just in the moment, and they're alive, and they're not worried, am I doing this right? They're just there. You know, and if you think about it, 2, 3, 4-year-olds, that's how they play. You know, I'm going to be Peter Pan, now I'm the crocodile, now I'm going to be Captain Hook. They don't think a thing about it. And then we grow up and it's all of a sudden the cure for cancer, right? So I have to say I've been extremely fortunate with the kids that I've worked with. and the dogs. And I just really I just love working with kids. I mean, dear God, I got up every day and thank God I got Danny Pintaro for Cujo. Kid was so phenomenal.
You know,
Anything to add to that?
I love kids. I have a 7-year-old. As of July 30th, she'll be 7. I haven't worked with any kids though, and
Call me.
but some interesting things happen in life that you don't expect. And one of the first big movies I did was with the mom from E.T. And then the following year, I worked with Gertie from E.T. Yeah, we did a movie called Home Fried, and it was Drew and a guy named Luke Wilson and myself. And
Yeah, but I have to say,
so I got a little.
when I took Gabrielle and my nanny back, the entire set, but especially Jake, just put their arms around her and played with her. They even built she said, Mommy, I want to fly, because you know I fly in that one scene. See, this is why I do all these emotional parts. And they built a little rig for her, and you guys played Foursquare with her at lunch.
She was fun.
Yeah, you were, and when she got older, you were always awesome with her. So you're probably a great dad. Jess?
I had a question. You were in a movie that I think is underrated, gets overlooked, unfortunately called Bounty Killer. And Gary Busey was also in that movie. I was just wondering how it came about that you starred in that one.
Oh, that's cool. We get to do There's maybe a reason she doesn't.
Give me a hint. What did I do? Look, guys, I just surpassed my 200th film.
Wow.
I seriously don't remember a lot of them.
Well, I'm not as young as I used to be. I might be getting movies confused, but you played a bartender.
Oh,
Am I got the wrong movie?
maybe
Somebody help me
not.
out.
Maybe not.
Okay.
I played some pretty juicy bartenders. I'm not only E.T.'s mom, you know. Just saying.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad I got to work with it. I think I only worked with your dad once, though. I've done some cons with him, but I've only worked with him once.
And that was that.
I guess so. Sorry. I'll go Google it.
And I'm really embarrassed.
Look, in half the films that I do, we do it under a working title, and then
That's
they
the change.
retitle it,
Yeah.
and somebody will bring me a poster from it and go, what the hell is this? And then I look at the poster and go, oh, they must you know, they never tell you.
Right.
They just put it out under a new title. Like, E.T. was a boy's life. Oh, yeah, there was all this kind of secrecy around it, you know, because people were stealing things right and left back then. So we had to wear badges. Literally, one day I went off and forgot my badge. They wouldn't let me on the set. I'm serious. They would
That's
not
crazy.
let me on the set until Stephen okayed it, because there were. But I had to go over to the studio behind locked doors and read the script to see if I wanted to do the script, right? So, I mean, it was a boy's life. None of us knew what it was going to be entitled when it came out. So.
I got to experience a little bit of that this last year. Stranger Things, they changed their name, their working title every season. And so I was working on Lake Ridge. I wasn't working on Stranger Things. Lake Ridge. They'll change it for season 4.
I want to do Stranger Things.
It's good.
It's all based on E.T. for God's sake. Write in! Everybody write in!
Wait for him to get the bikes to fly with the bikes.
Yeah, I mean, all the flashlight scenes and the whole thing. It's like, duh! You know? Questions? Yeah.
Tell us about the new Critters movie.
The new Critters movie is a lot of fun. It's not a remake, it's a reboot. A lot of young kids in it, and I don't know how to explain this to you. I played the same part, except now I'm called Aunt Dee and not Helen. I think maybe it was a legal thing between all the, I don't know. But anyway, but I get to play a bounty hunter. I got a new great shot on my table from it. And I loved it because, you know, I didn't want to play a farm wife again. And when I got the script, I was really pleasantly surprised. And I guess the critters have eaten and killed all my family, so now I look like this nice lady who goes out and blows them all away.
Well, that's
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like the Frighteners, actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So you play a lot of like motherly characters.
You
especially-
think?
But occasionally you get to play the bad guy, the villain, Lords of Salem, Frighteners. Do you have a preference? Like, do you really enjoy getting to play the villain once in a while? And
Yes, I do. I just like a great emotional ride. I like to play arcs, and I like to play a lot of emotion. And so anything that fits in there, I'm happy. That's why I think I gravitate toward the horror genre so much, because it gives me an opportunity to play all that. I mean, I'm really good at comedy, but to have a career where I would just be doing comedy would bore the shit out of me. Truly. You?
I don't know. I like them both, but I think in my old age, I'm starting to not like being covered in latex and sticky blood at all. I'd rather just, you know, come in and be funny and bail. But like, you know, I don't really get that opportunity too much. I've been this past year, I've been needing to come out of a bit of a lull, and in order to do that, you kind of have to do what I call going to the cookie jar. It's like those things that you've somehow become most noticed for or most appreciated for, even if it's not necessarily your favorite thing. But
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of what
Give them what they want.
Give them what they want. Yeah. So I've had to do that this last year to in order to have the Predator, Stranger Things,
Yeah.
and Swamp Thing, and LA's Finest, and all these things that are out this year. So hopefully I'll be able to get back to doing more of a variety. But I've been like the jerk and the bad guy and the psycho guy for a good year. I'm ready for some fun.
Yeah.
Roles, you know.
We get bored doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, back there.
Hi.
Hi.
First off, pleasure to meet both of you.
Thank you.
Dee, can you tell us a little bit about your upcoming role in Free from Hell?
Ooh, yes, please tell me.
Well, for all Rob Zombie fans, you will not be disappointed in this film. It is a classic Rob Zombie gore